set foot in this beautiful space. And when I came here, I met this young man by the name of Jong. Jong worked in this facility in 1998, I'm going to say maybe to about 2000. And he invited me, yes, please give it up to him. And he invited me to be a part of a group called Asian Crisis. I was part of that first group of Asian Crisis, which is still in full effect. And so that group has continued with Art Hirahara, Jong, Francis Wong. I can name the litany of folks, but I was on that first leg of Asian Crisis. So we came to this space, and I remember walking through this hall right here. And as you come through this hall, there was an exhibit of the Philippines. And at that time, I need you to give me some bells, Jay. At that time, coming through the hall, there was an exhibit about the Philippines going back into like maybe the 30s and 40s. And as you walk closer to this one wall right here, there was a picture, not a picture, there was a statue of a samurai, blacker than 10 million midnights. And I looked at that, and I looked at it several times when I would come through. And I would ask, finally, I said, Jason, who is that? And Jason said, how you doing, baby? Jason said, that's Yasuke. I said, Yasuke? Because I was going Yasuke. He said, Yasuke. He said, that is the first African samurai. Come on, cousin. Come on, Jason. And so I said, the first African samurai? He said, yes. And as you're aware, we hear about the African-American, Asian solidarity. And for me, I needed to go back in time to bring Yasuke forward. And so Yasuke, there are several stories about where he came from in Africa. One of the places I said is Mozambique. And at that time, the Portuguese were going in and they were swiping up Africans and taking them into various parts of Europe. Yasuke was one of those youngsters. He was swiped up in the early 1500s and brought into Europe. And he was put, not in the care, but he was to watch a Jesuit priest by the name of Alessandro. And as he was working with Alessandro in a form of enslavement, he was taken throughout the world, and then he was taken to Japan. And when he got off that ship in Japan with the Jesuit, Alessandro, the Japanese broke and ran towards him. They hadn't seen anything like him ever. 6'5" and blacker than 10 million midnights. They wanted to know, who is that? And the warlord over that area at that time was Nobunaga, Oda Nobunaga. And Oda said, that black ain't real. Y'all take the brother over there and get him a bath. And they tried to scrub it off. That black wasn't coming off. Inside, outside, nowhere, on the streets. But he and Yasuke became friends. And Yasuke was such a fierce warrior alongside him, he made him a samurai. So we've written a piece, a composition, a small suite that's talking about the movement of Yasuke off of Mozambique, the capture, the Jesuit, Nobunaga meets Yasuke. The warlord Nobunaga was betrayed by one of his own warriors, and he and Yasuke were captured. Nobunaga was taken away, and Yasuke, there were several stories. One, that he was returned back to the Jesuit, Alessandro. One of the stories said he disappeared into the spirit world, and some say he may have even found his way back to Africa, to Mozambique. But what we do know is that brother's presence is still strong, speaking loud.